It's top of the hour and it's time for Making a Difference. On this show, we explore people in our community that make a difference in other people's lives. And this has taken us down many roads of people doing different things. I'm your host, CJ Metcalfe. And today I am very excited to bring on Sam Densler with Songwriters Island. This is an amazing organization, and you're going to learn all about it. Sam and his beautiful bride, Gina, hi, and welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Sam, go ahead and let's talk a little bit about what Songwriters Island is all about. What is it that you do?
Sure, thanks. And cut me off if I go too long because I love talking about it. But this is something that Gina and I have been passionate about for years, and we started an internet radio station because we didn't think that the folks that wrote the songs got enough
Credit,
visibility, credit, as the people that perform their music. And a lot of people don't realize when they hear a song on the radio that chances are good chance that that performer didn't actually write the song. And there's a lot of people behind the performance that actually create this amazing music. So we decided to set up a little station that featured the songwriters, and that turned into 450 different songwriters, playing all around the world. And now it's grown into doing travel trips to do shows in crazy tropical places and house concerts and big events, and it's just blown up into something really crazy, and we're very passionate about it and we love it. So we're glad that we get to share it with the world.
Well, in looking, I was trying to do a little research on Songwriters Island, and when I Googled it, it brought up a couple of different things. Is this a national company? Is this strictly yours? Do you have more than one way that people can get in touch with you? What was that all about?
Sure. So this is owned by Gina and me entirely. Started small, but we have not brought out on any other investors or anything. This is something that is a passion of ours that we retain control over. So when you say, is it national? We actually, the station is on the internet, so it plays in, like, last count, 71 countries around the world. And ironically enough, not only do we get feedback from people around the world, but we also get songwriters submitting original music from around the world, playing music from musicians from France, Croatia, Italy, Mexico, all through the Caribbean, different Hawaii. Genres. Yeah, it's really cool. But the one thing that I do have to mention is, although ownership is Gina and myself, we have a lot of supporters that help us in a lot of the curation of the music. So we actually have a group. I'm wearing the shirt today, and not intentionally, but I'm wearing the Songwriters Island Crew shirt today because we have a group of about 10 or 12 folks that all the music that comes in, they curate it, they vote on it, they listen to it, and we only play what is recommended by the Songwriters Island Crew. They're also very involved in all the shows we do. You'll see the crew wearing these shirts, helping set up sound systems and helping people understand what this is all about. And they come to the Caribbean shows, and we do shows in Mexico and Cuba and the Virgin Islands. It's just crazy, but we can't do it without those people. They're just great folks, and a lot of them are here in the Punta Gorda, or at least Southwest Florida area. But we also have some folks that are elsewhere in the country that help us remotely make this thing the best that it can be.
Well, I've had the privilege of seeing some of your shows, Adam, and I noticed that it's not a one-man operation, that you have other people helping you. So about how many local staff does it take to do your average production?
Well, I'll give you an example. We just did the Pirate and Mermaid Festival for the Chamber of Commerce, and we had my sister and her crew with all the mermaid stuff going on. We had a group called the Pirate Heads that came down and helped with a lot of that. The local Parrot Head Club is very supportive, and then of course the crew was, I want to say at least 10 of them were out helping with the rum vendors, the rum distillers, helping get the stage set up, helping to set things up early, and make sure that everybody was taken care of. So probably at least 10 of our folks from Punta Gorda, but all the Chamber of Commerce people and everybody else. So it was a big Punta Gorda event, and we had a great time. I think there was probably almost 1,000 people there, and lots of rum. So it was a lot of fun.
Where do some of the singers come from? Because I know when you put on a production, you'll have one or maybe a variety of singers playing and singing. Are they all local, or do they come from other places?
Yeah, so when it started, it actually started, it started as a tropical station, and what we were really looking for was people that wrote in the kind of the spirit of, Jimmy Buffett, Kenny Chesney, people like that actually provided, we call it escapism music, something that you can be sitting in your office and listening to the station and actually feel like you're either in the Caribbean or making plans to go to the Caribbean. So that's really where it started. It started with some local folks that a lot of people, I'm sure, listening to your broadcast will know. The first song we played on the station was Jim Morris, who's a Punta Gorda guy. And then there were more guys like Paul Rausch and other locals, Jack Mosley, Sonny Jim, that are all here in Southwest Florida. And then as that thing took off, we started getting more interest from people like Kelly McGuire a songwriter out of Texas, and some other folks like that. And then magically one day we met some folks from Nashville. One in particular is Jen Bostic, and we started doing some Nashville style shows where, like you said, it was originally one musician, and now we started doing songwriter showcases where we'd have multiple songwriters doing a Nashville style show. And what magically happened that day was Jen started introducing us to some other folks in Nashville. And ironically enough, people in Nashville don't want to be up there when it's snowy and nasty. So what they do is they want to play in the Caribbean. So instantly we had a whole pile full of new songwriters that wanted to be part of this. And it really has grown into more of a broad songwriter type event or a station that now features writers, a lot from Nashville, a lot from the Texas country movement. And then, of course, like I said, now we get international interest from songwriters, which is really cool because it's crazy to hear somebody from Australia or somebody from Italy send us a song that they call country, and they either mimic they try to sound or write like the country musicians here in this country, or in a lot of cases they write country music the way that expresses their country, which is another cool way to see music. So it's turned into something really cool. So I know it's a long answer, but it's been a crazy ride over 12 years and all the different stuff we've gone through. So thanks for asking that.
One of the listeners asked a question. They wanted to know, where are you located?
So we are located in Punta Gorda, but the beauty of the internet is that that's almost unimportant from a radio station perspective, because you can listen anywhere in the world that you have an internet connection. But on the other hand, our smaller venue shows, we do a lot of stuff here in town. So for example, we do house concerts where we'll have a Nashville writer come down and actually play in our backyard at the dock, and people can come over and bring a cooler and just sit around and hear, the stories behind the music, which is really what we do. It's less about, a bar gig where people are just playing songs that It's more about hearing music that you don't know and hearing the story behind it. And then in a lot of cases, like James Slater and Jesse Rice and people like that, these are songs that are being performed on terrestrial radio by an artist that's in reality covering that song, even though that song by a Kenny Chesney. It's actually James Slater who wrote it. So James gets to tell you the story behind his song, and then the story about how Kenny picked it up and put it on his album. So yeah, we're Punta Gorda folks, and we think this is the most amazing place in the world to live. We came here on vacation 12 years ago and never left. So we love the town, but the beauty of the internet allows us to broadcast around the world and do things in some really cool places. Like I said, Virgin Islands, Cuba. We've done sailing trips to Cuba and played with the Cuban musicians in downtown Havana, which was just game changing. You know, it was just life-changing experience. So,
well, you hit on it. Where are some of the places where you hold events? I know I've seen you not only in your backyard, but you've been some other places. And when you hold these events, is there a charge to get into them?
Yeah, so they're all different. I'll tell you that the biggest event that we do, and we're about to go do it again because May is our big event season in Mexico. But what we do is, you'll see right there on the webpage it's being displayed for those that aren't on the radio, that in May there are 3 week-long shows that we put musicians down on several beach locations on an island in Mexico called Isla Mujeres. And we've been doing these shows, I think this is our 12th year, and we do 3 shows 3 weeks in a row with 3 different sets of musicians and therefore 3 different sets of crowds, although they're so popular that we have people that come for the first show and stay for all 3 weeks. But if you were to click on the one of those events, like the May 20th one, or any of those is fine, you'll see that when you scroll down a little bit, there's the writers, and then if you scroll down a little bit more, you will see that a little picture of the hotel we get everybody at. That is one of the beaches that we do the shows on. So you can see we're right on the beach and in beautiful water in a beautiful place. So Isla Mujeres is our big shows. That's those shows are you take care of your own airfare, you take care of your own hotel reservation at this place. Most of these are 2-bedroom condos, and they sell for about $180 to $200 per night for 2 couples. So you get to stay on that beach for less than $100 per night per person or per couple. And then we charge $99 per person for the entire week of music events, and that includes a welcome party, a beach concert, a pool party, and then another beach concert. So there's actually 4 events for $99 with these amazing songwriters.
And those
go ahead.
Those costs that you charge, where does that money go to?
So what we do is we take the ticket money and split it up among the 3 musicians, so that because that way we pay for their hotel, we pay for their airfare, and we pay for obviously their performances. So that's how we do that.
So are you or are you a for-profit organization?
Monetize those shows, but that's really where we do most of our monetization is the travel shows. On the, you're talking more local. We do house concerts here. We do them as a recommended donation because we don't sell tickets and we don't monetize them. So what we do is we put out a tip jar basically for the musicians. The customary donation for those is usually about $20. We almost never go more than that unless it's something just really special. And typically those aren't right in the backyard. And then what we do is we don't touch the money. Every penny that's donated goes to the musicians, or if the musician has any kind of charity or anything that they're doing, they take care of that. But that way, the musicians are paid. Obviously you got Nashville quality musicians with hits coming down and playing. They need to make some money. So that's how it's done. But we don't take a penny of that. We never have, and we never will. We also do a lot of booking of music here in Punta Gorda. We booked the Navigator for almost 5 years. We booked Hurricane Charlie's the first year they were open. We currently put a lot of musicians into Riviera Bar and Grill, the new place down on Alligator Creek. And we have never ever taken a penny from a musician or from any venues to book these. It's all about getting great musicians in so that people can hear a diversity of music. And some we try to do is half of that. Those bookings are done for local folks, and then the other half are done for touring musicians and some of the people that we play on the station. So that way there's a local flavor to it, but also you get a chance to see some of the other musicians that we feature on the station, and you get introduced to them.
Well, that's right along the lines of my next question. Do you do benefit programs, events, to be as a fundraiser for an organization?
So there's a couple of different avenues to do those. One of the things we do is we book all the music for the local Charlotte Harbor Parrot Head Club, which is a huge charitable group. And I don't remember the numbers from last year, but they just do tens of thousands of dollars worth of donations every year. So what we do is we book all the music for their shows. We book them all for free. The Parrot Head Club pays for the music, and then they do everything from 50/50s to all kind of other benefits, the shoes for kids, and what are some of the other ones, if you remember?
Just to the wildlife.
Yeah, wildlife, the Charlotte Harbor Wildlife Refuge, I forget what the exact name is, the shoes for kids, backpack for kids. We did a socks event for the Kiwanis last month. So that's part of the way that we work with people like that. But then there's also other events that we do a lot of work. We broadcast a show up in Tampa that's called Music on the Bay, and I think they typically give about $30,000 a year to the Shriners. We've broadcast several years of the show done in Orlando for Children's Arthritis Foundation. And then
Mexico relief.
Yeah, the Mexico thing. We try to add a a component to all of our travel shows that helps to help out the location where we're going. So all of the Eastland Harris trips, we take donations for the local. We sponsor a local soccer club on the island down in Mexico, which is kind of funny. It's kids, obviously. This year, we're asking people to bring maybe some used or new soccer cleats to donate to the kids. We're also asking people to bring those little inexpensive, like $80 tablets that we're going to donate to the school down there. When we did the Cuba trip, everybody brought musical instruments and school supplies that we donated to a local church. And when we do the BVI trip in July, we're also going to ask people to bring some small musical instruments, musical stuff that we can donate to the kids. And our songwriter's also going to do that's on that trip, Kelly McGuire. He's going to do a songwriting class for the kids on the island when we get there. So, we try to do things a little different. It's not always just throw money in a bucket. It's try to have something that is focused on the music side of the business that can keep the kids involved in music and songwriting.
You are doing a lot. How long? When did Songwriters Island give birth? When did you start it?
So conceptually, and all the early stuff was about 12 years ago. When we had bought the property here in Punta Gorda, but we hadn't moved here yet because we were still working in Melbourne on the other side of the state. And so that was conceptually, that's when we started it. We started doing just the radio station, and it was a background thing. It didn't have a lot of listeners, but we were trying to build the songwriters that wanted to submit their music. And like I said, once that the Nashville connection and the connection with some of the Key West shows happened, that's when it just kind of went into overdrive, and everybody started getting involved. And we won Radio Station of the Year 5 years in a row for the Key West. It's called the Trop Rock Music Association, and it was just it was that kind of a thing. So it was kind of fun. And then once it got real big, like we talked about, now we have enough people that are involved. I mean, here's a great example, and this may be something you wanted to talk about later, but I'll throw it in. Now that we have such a dedicated listenership and all the followers that come to the house concerts and a lot of local people, we're able to reach out and say, hey, who wants to come and help with whatever? And people just show up. We did a recent one where it was a gentleman that was moving into an assisted living care place, and just reach out to the station and say, hey, who wants to help move some furniture? And people just show up. We did the veterans dinner with you guys for the Veterans Village that, we had hoped to have a songwriter come out and play some music and make some chili. And it turned out that we had chili for, I guess, about a month, and 10 songwriters showed up, and we got a chance to play music for a couple of hours. And even one of the veterans got up and played a song with one of our guys. So again, it's a small idea that turned into something really big and impactful. So that's really cool. What was the other one I was going to say? There was another. Oh, the thing we did with the veteran out in Port Charlotte. That was really cool, right? I mean, how many? I had hoped for 5 or 6 people to show up, and I think we had 12 to 15 people, and we had 14. Yeah, and we had guys that knew carpentry and guys that knew electric and guys that just wanted to help carry stuff. And man, what a day that was, right? I mean,
guys,
people are still talking about it.
You're amazing. You are just amazing. You're so all around, well versed. You've got what a wonderful selection of people and fans and audience that you have. We brought it up on the screen a while ago, but how do people, you want to tell us about your website, or how can people get in touch with you? How can they see your events? Because the listeners don't have the visual that we have right now. So go ahead and tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, and if you don't mind, let me just introduce with one thing, because you said something that is important that I bring up. Gina and I don't do all the work. We had an idea that brought a lot of people together, but for anybody listening, it's important that they understand that the people that show up and do this work, I stood there and watched people cook. I didn't even get a chance to cook chili, right? Because so many people showed up. I don't play music. I didn't get a chance to sing or perform. But what we do is we just build this really cool network that allows people to be part of stuff. And then they are the ones that really should be celebrated, because they're the ones that are really showing up and making things happen. And it is a very large, dedicated, diverse group of people. So anybody and I intro that because I think it's important that they get credit, but I also introed it because that for anybody listening, I think it's important that that if this is something that you would like to be a part of, that does have a chance to give back to the community, but also gives you an opportunity to listen to some great music and have some great fun. It's important that you reach out. You can check out the radio station at www.songwritersisland.com. That's songwriters plural, island.com, and it's all one word. The other thing you can do is reach out to me at Densler at songwritersisland.com, or Gina at gdensler@songwritersisland.com. And that's just our first initials and last name. So mine is SDENSLER at songwritersisland.com. So we'd love to have new people show up, be part of this. What I always tell people is if you show up to any of the house concerts or any of the things we do, you will immediately make 100 new friends all here from Punta Gorda. And it just opens up a whole new group of people for people just to enjoy being friends with.
It's good, wholesome, healthy enjoyment, entertainment, and fun. In closing here, Sam, you look pretty young, okay? And to do all these events and things that you're doing, is this, do you work normally during the day and this is something on the side you do? Or what's the situation there?
Okay, first of all, we're not as young as we look, I think. Yeah, Gina and I are retired. She recently retired from her job. She was in the Air Force, and then worked for Northrop Grumman, who was a DoD contractor, and then worked for this really cool modeling and simulation company that worked with the Department of Defense as well as NASA. And she spent a lot of time doing crazy stuff, which is really cool. I also worked Department of Defense most of my career, and although I have retired, I can't seem to get away from it. So the answer to your question is we do the music stuff as our primary business. Excuse me. But we also can't seem to get away from some of the DoD work. So I do get, hold on a second. I got to get a sip. So I also have a contracting business where I do some contracting for a company when they need proposals written and things like that. So I do monetize a little bit that way, and I do get to work with that company. And the beauty is that two of my daughters work for them, so I get to work for my daughters, which is pretty cool.
Well, I think we're going to just have to have you back on sometime to continue this on. As you grow, maybe we can grow with you, and our audience reaches all the way up to Osprey and Sarasota and everything, and you may have some new people showing up in your backyard.
That'd be great. I mean, some of the musicians like Sonny Jim is from Osprey, and John Patty's from Sarasota. So yeah, I know they would love to reach out to some of the folks as well. And I look forward to doing some other stuff with you. I know we talked about when people can start going to shows inside again. I would love to do some stuff with the Military Heritage Museum, because we have guys like Nashville guys like Tom Shepard, Dan DeMay, Paul Overstreet. These are all folks with #1 hits, that Paul has Grammys, the whole deal. These guys love to do shows for, for that audience. And I know that several of them have done many, what are they called? USO shows. Tom traveled around the world. He wrote Riding with Private Malone and Redneck Yacht Club, two of his hits, and he travels around and does USO shows, and would love to come down and do something for the vets. So yeah, we can have some fun with that as well, and we'd love to donate some time and whatever we can to help those guys out, those guys and gals.
Looking forward to it. Well, Sam and Gina Densler, I want to thank you for coming on and telling us about Songwriters Island. This is it's incredible what you're doing. It's definitely making a difference in our community, and that's what this show is all about. So we look forward to having you back on the show. And this is CJ Metcalfe. We're signing off for now, and we'll see you next week.